Damn. That was some heavy shit to watch. I think after seeing that, man, I'm gonna need a drink. Oh. Talk about some heavy shit. Hey guys, the Black Critic Guy, and now that Hurricane Matthew has left the building, I finally got a chance to go watch and now review the new film, The Girl on the Train. Now, The Girl on the Train follows Rachel, a depressed and unsteady alcoholic who rides a train every day, mostly to keep an eye on her ex-husband and his family. But through these train rides, she grows an unhealthy fascination into the lives of her ex-husband's neighbors, who, to her, have the happiness that she yearns for. She projects all of her emotions, projects all of her fantasies and dreams onto this couple. Unfortunately though, this image of the perfect couple is shattered when she sees the neighbor woman in the embrace of another man. And in a drunken rage, she attempts to confront the woman about this, but ends up blacking out. And then the next day she wakes up all beaten, bloodied, and learning that the woman she's been watching and decided to confront is now missing. And this makes her question whether or not she had something to do with her disappearance, or there's something more to it. Now, I can't be the only one who saw the trailer to this film and instantly thought, so it's basically Gone Girl, but on a train. I mean, it has the same tone, the same atmosphere, practically the same setting, has a female lead, and is a murder mystery story. I mean, come on, the parallels are uncanny. Also, this film was released at the exact same time Gone Girl was released 2 years ago, early October. Basically, what I'm saying is that the filmmakers were trying to make The Girl on the Train the next Gone Girl. And did they succeed? Sort of. The best thing that this film has going for it is the performances. They were all great, particularly Emily Blunt's performance. My goodness, this woman is going for the gold this year, and with this performance, she just might have a chance at taking it. It'd be no stretch to the imagination to declare that she carries this entire film. Her performance is so raw and uncanny, it felt real, like she was actually this disheveled mess of a person who couldn't get their life together. She was able to capture this emotionally unstable drunk to a T. But not only that, she's also able to make the character come off as sympathetic. You kind of feel bad for her throughout the entire film. You see that she's trying to better herself, but she's haunted by her past, and she's haunted by her alcoholism that she kind of just fumbles at every single step. And you just hope that this character can succeed and better herself. The story in this film is actually quite enthralling. I was sucked into it, I was invested, I wanted to see how the story was going to unfold, and as I mentioned earlier, it's very Gone Girl-esque. Dark, moody, and dealing with a lot of heavy subjects, including infidelity, a lot of infidelity, alcoholism, voyeurism, and abuse both physically and mentally. As for the mystery element to the story, I'm not gonna lie, it was well handled. They threw me off of the real path countless of times because they knew how to use misdirection perfectly. They kept making me think, oh, it's this way, this is where it's going, but actually, the path actually veers to the left instead of going straight. But I never really looked to my left, I was just looking straight at what the film was showing me instead of listening to the hints throughout the film. And once I started picking up on the hints, only then did I realize the mystery. So I have to applaud them for throwing me off for so long. But unfortunately, I kind of guessed the mystery. I solved the riddle midway through the film, so it made me kind of sad. But it still took me a while to come to this realization. That's because, again, they did a really good job with their misdirection. They kept telling me to look this way when I should have been looking that way. And finally, let's talk about the characters. Now, it should be noted that there is not a single likable character throughout the film. Not a single one. In fact, the only one that kind of came close to being a likable character was the psychiatrist played by Edgar Ramirez. He kind of was the only decent person throughout the film, but even some of his actions are kind of questionable. Every one of the characters are reprehensible and deplorable on a certain level. But I don't think the point of the film was to display likable characters. I think the characters are supposed to be despicable by nature. And personally, I found this really interesting to see a film that focused on such despicable characters and giving us some insight about their behaviors and their actions. They're not justifying them, they're just showcasing it for us so that we can see what goes through their minds, why they're acting the way they do, and it gives us some perspective. For example, let's take the character Megan, the neighbor woman that Rachel watches. From Rachel's perspective, an outsider's perspective, she seems like a wholesome, decent person, a loving wife who seems very happy and content with her life. But that's not the case. She's actually a very despicable person. She's a slut. She's unhappy with her relationship. But we would never know this unless we could explore more about Megan's character, which we do. We start to dissect that the little wholesome, nice girl that she seems to be isn't entirely what she is. Through her conversations with the psychiatrist, we get a deep insight of what this character thinks and how this character feels. And she also has this thing where she doesn't like babies, and it seems kind of weird, but also like, okay, I can buy it. But they actually give an explanation as to why she fears children, why she fears having a baby, and let me tell you, it's pretty sad. It's quite tragic, and it made me kind of feel for the character for that one moment. My heart went out to her. Still doesn't change the fact that she's a complete bitch though. I will say this for sure, that it was quite a different but unique experience to see such despicable characters take the forefront in the narrative. Now that's not to say that this film is without flaws. It has quite a few. One of the biggest issues I found with the film was with the character of Anna, the new wife of Rachel's ex-husband. Not only is this character just not likable whatsoever, but you didn't really need to see much of her perspective on things. I didn't like the fact that they gave her any real focus. I mean, I understand it kind of helped with the narrative of the story, but honestly, I never sympathized with her. I never rooted for her. The girl was just a complete bitch, and she's a homewrecker. What more is there to say about the character? The ending was completely rushed and tied things up way too nicely, with many things pushed out for convenience. They don't fully address or even wrap up the investigation subplot that they built early on in the film. They just act as though because this one thing happened, that must mean that this investigation is over. It's all solved, okay? Everything's neatly done. No. You need to conclude it properly. Not only that, but they needed to conclude Luke Evans' story properly too. His character needed a full resolution. His character was basically yanked around from scene to scene, and we didn't really get enough time to really develop his character or even give him some resolution by the end. It's just kind of left in the air. What happens to the husband of the missing woman? But probably one of the worst things to be pushed out for convenience sake, which is also one of the major issues with this film, deals with Rachel's alcohol problem, or at least the resolution to Rachel's alcohol problem. By the end of the film, kind of a bit of a spoiler, but not really, they kind of treat her alcohol problem as if it wasn't even a big deal to begin with, even though throughout the entire film they play it up prevalently. Yeah, sure, they do have a scene where she goes to an AA meeting and she kind of opens up about being an alcoholic, but there's never another scene like that. And we don't see a progression with their character when it comes to her alcohol abuse, her alcohol problem. It just seems to kind of disappear by the end of the film. And I thought that was pretty insulting. It could have been a very interesting character arc to see her trying to better herself, get rid of the alcohol, stop drinking so much, see the character actually grow. But they ignore all of that growth and just focus on the mystery aspect. Let's have her kind of question what's going on and go to these characters. No. She needs to focus on her alcohol problem as well. That is a major issue with the character, and that needs to be resolved by the end of the film. You can't just tack on the fact that it's all over because this one thing happened, so she's not alcoholic anymore. No, it doesn't work that way. They should have shown more of her working diligently to rid herself of her addiction, to give her a more fully realized character arc. So overall, is the girl on the train the next Gone Girl? No. Absolutely not. It doesn't even come close. But it's still a rather good film. There's some great performances, the story is still interesting, the murder mystery aspect is good, and I did find the characters fascinating, although a bit despicable. And I would say it's worth checking out. I'll give this film a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I won't say that it's an enjoyable film, as there's a lot of heavy issues in it, but I will say that it is a solid film. But as always, guys, I'm not the end-all be-all opinion when it comes to The Girl on the Train. I would love to know what you guys thought about the film if you have seen it yourself. Did you love it? Do you think it's way better than Gone Girl and is one of the best films of the year? Or is it really boring, derivative, and copied Gone Girl way too much and you couldn't stand it? And let me know, what is your favorite film that touches on pretty heavy subjects? Comment below, let me know, and stay tuned. I probably might have an anime review coming out tomorrow if I can get it done on time. You'll also have a new Let's Watch Something on Wednesday, BCGML on Thursday. This week's just going to be really hectic, guys. Pray for me, as always. And also, as always, if you guys would like to support the Black Critic Guy just a smidge more, why not donate to my Patreon account? Link is in the description. And if you'd like to send me any fan mail for me to read this Thursday, you can send it to this P.O. box right here. And as always, if you would like to see more videos on this channel, be a part of the Black Critic crew, please hit that subscribe button below. Like this video if you really enjoyed it. And I'm Tony Wally II, gonna drink my sorrows away as the Black Critic Guy. Till then... oh, peace, YouTube. Oh, damn. That actually tasted good.